I think that was a cool intro, right? Can be, whatever. I hope you're well. I'm doing great. This is another video about light roast. I probably may be the right person to do this video just because, as you probably already know, as of right now, circa 2025, I don't care for it. I really don't. However, one of the things that I have noticed with light roasted coffee is that you can extract the crap out of it and still not get bitterness. So we're gonna put this to the test. We're gonna do probably 3 brews, brewed cup of coffee, 200 degrees, about 3 pulses after the bloom. We're gonna use a Hario V60 and we're doing light roast. So let's go ahead and get a measurement right now. This is the whole bean reading. As you can see, it's 82. So we know at least outside of the bean is 82. And as you see from here, 82 is pretty light. Okay, so the first one we're gonna do is 10 grams, 1:15 ratio. And we're gonna have fun. We're gonna do about 10 grams of this coffee. We'll get the internal reading. I'm using the fellow oat over here on number 6 right now to do this first cup of coffee, all right? Let's go ahead and see if we can get a measurement anyway. And you don't have all these tools, which is great because you have a crazy person like myself having these tools. And you can do these experiments the same way. You're just trusting your palate. 83. So like I said, we'll go ahead and put this back on there again so you can see. So 82, 83 of what you're actually drinking. From here, 85 is very light. This is a roast degree, right? So you can get the color of the coffee. So we know for sure that we're dealing with a light roast. Sometimes whenever we look at the actual coffee, we can kind of tell if it's a light roast if you're using a hand grinder. If it gets really hard to grind, you know it's a light roast to an extent. Now, we are going to go ahead and brew this cup of coffee. We're gonna do 30 grams of bloom, okay? And for 30 seconds. So let's go ahead and get this ready. This coffee is a Honduras coffee. It wasn't my favorite. It's very orangey up front. More so settled down probably now just because it's about a month and a half off roast. But like I said, you can do this too. You can do this test without all these gadgets or anything like that. I think it's pretty cool that I'm showing you all this so you can kind of get an idea of what you're probably going to get out of your cup of coffee with numbers. So now we're going to take it to 70. Wait a couple seconds for us to settle down. And now we're going to take it to 110. 151, okay? And we're going to stir it and we're going to drink it. I think I was going to say enjoy it. We'll see about that. I'm gonna get a TDS of it. And I'm using the Hario V60, as you can see right now, the plastic dripper, the regular filters, 1:15 ratio. The brew is about 1 minute and 45 seconds at most. Okay, it's lemony, orangey. Very highly acidic, but it's still pleasing. I can still drink it. The acidity lingers a little bit, but not like the grapefruity taste that I am not accustomed to or liking for my own personal preference. And what I mean by that for the grapefruity taste is not so much the grapefruit itself, because grapefruit, if you really eat it the right way, it's juicy, it's sweet, it's actually probably even more complex and more dimensional compared to like an orange or a lemon. But in this case, what I'm talking about is a grapefruit rind. That's the taste that I really hate in grapefruit. And that's what I don't like in my coffees. I'm not tasting sweetness. Just me personally, I don't really taste sweetness in light roast. Okay. Let's go ahead and pour this all the way out. And we're gonna keep drinking it as it cools. I think that's some of the things that we like to do, that at least that I know that I like to do, to taste the coffee throughout this whole story. And it kind of changes sometimes it doesn't. But for now, we're just trying to push extraction. So let's keep pushing extraction. We're just gonna go ahead and go to the extreme. We're gonna go ahead and do a 4 on the fellow O2. And normally that's the max that I would normally do. I'm able to extract as much as I can from the coffee. I am kind of tasting the grapefruity type of taste on the coffee, so I may get more of that as I continue to crank up the extraction. But again, we're just pushing the boundaries of extraction. In this case, the way we're doing that is that we're keeping the 200 degrees Fahrenheit the same as it is right now, but we're going to change everything in the grind size. And in this case, we're going to make it to 2 full settings to what I think will get us there. Okay, 10 grams. Let me kind of get an idea what I'm dealing with. Okay, so it's 1.24. That's what we got. I didn't think it was going to be that low. We're going to let this cool down a little bit more. So 1.24 is unrestricted. Tasted fine to me, but sometimes it's just what it is, okay? But it's one of those things sometimes when you're drinking coffee and it tastes good or it tastes decent to you, and it could be under extracted, which is fine. It's kind of good to have these parameters, like tests, kind of see what sourness tastes like and see if you like it. A lot of times when we talk about coffee extraction, we're like, oh, that tasted just fine to me. And then when we actually drink it, we're like, according to this measurement, it is sour. What does that mean for us? Do we like it? Do we not like it? All right, so we're gonna do the next one at 200 degrees Fahrenheit at the 4 setting on a grinder. 30 grams. I think mostly everything is, you can see it from the other camera, that I didn't get everything totally saturated, but that's fine. Well, I think the grind setting will make it up, okay? Here we go. So we're gonna take this to 70. Let it come down. Let it do its thing. And then we're gonna take this up to 110 degree. 110 grams. Let it do its thing. And then we're gonna take it all the way up to 150 grams of total brew. Got it right. I'm not gonna clean my palate just because it's already coated with coffee. And I kind of don't want to restart that again. It's something I've been doing lately. I think it's been working out pretty good. So we're gonna write down some numbers. We'll see what we're working with. That first cup was 1.22 TDS, okay? So by, I guess, common sense or science or logic, is that this cup should be a lot stronger just because we have increased the actual TDS by grinding a lot finer. So that means that we'll be able to extract more coffee. Okay. It's about the same. It's juicy, but it really is juicy. Sweetness, not really. Acidic, yes, but I think the acidity is a little bit more pleasant. Probably that's what I was tasting. That grapefruity type of taste that I'm not too accustomed of tasting it's probably more so on the sour side, at least in this coffee, and that's what it seems like. Yeah, seems more pleasant. Yeah, it's drinkable. It's actually kind of chuggable, which is kind of weird saying that when it comes from a light roast for me. So let's go ahead and let it get cooler. Let's put it on the side. And let's taste the other one real quick before we start the third kind of challenge. Okay. It's more lemon juice, could be the sour part of it, or it's more lemony type of juice. That's what I'm tasting in that particular cup as it cools down almost to room temp. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with. Kind of want to see what I'm working with right now. Okay, 1.43. I think we're gonna go a little bit more extreme. That's 1.43, which is great, that's fine. So that's a extraction about 20. So we went from 17 to 20. I really want to push this coffee. So we're gonna go to a 3 setting on the fellow oat, and then we're gonna take it all the way up to 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm gonna do 3 setting on a fellow oat and 212 degrees on this coffee. Let's have another taste of the other coffee. I can probably get a little bit of sweetness. In this case, I would say that's more chocolatey type of roundness that I'm getting from this coffee. Like I said, it's drinkable, it's chuggable. Is it my thing? No, but that's fine. You know, you can still kind of find some type of appreciation in light roast if you don't drink it all the time. That makes sense. I'm gonna start this 30. All right, clean bed, as you can see, very clean bed. Let's drink this coffee. Cheers. That high intensity of that light roast, it hits you right there. Yeah, it's kind of like the other one. This coffee isn't as complex as other coffees can be when it comes to light roast. This coffee is more so like a one-dimensional specialist. So in this case, it's very orangey. It kind of hits you right there. And then at times, since it's a lighter roast, you will get little amount of chocolate notes on the aftertaste, but and then that's it. It just dies down from there. Yeah, not tasting any bitterness whatsoever. Very approachable cup, if a light roast is approachable in this case. And sometimes you have those coffees, even when I roast this at a medium roast or even a dark roast, it kind of has that one-dimensional type of feel to it. You'll get more sweetness out of it, at least to me. You'll probably get the same thing too. But it kind of hits and then goes. We can probably play around with that with different techniques, you know, recipe techniques, pouring techniques, probably even different filters and all that. But we're just testing it for the way it is right now. And the main reason why I wanted to use the regular filter is because it's a heavier filter. So then that also means that the drawdown theoretically is going to take a lot longer. So more contact time, theoretically, that means that the coffee is going to be more extracted in that case. Yeah, it tastes like the second one. Yeah, it's mellowed out a lot more. The aftertaste is more of a lemony type of taste. Sometimes, a lot of times when I think about coffee, especially when you come to acidity and what you're tasting, it's kind of like degrees of it, meaning that you have lemon in the middle, lemon on one extreme where it's more lemony. It's just, you get acidic flavors. And then you get an orange, and the orange can be more balanced because it has that sweetness. And whenever you have an orange, you could eat so many more oranges than lemons, right? And then you have a grapefruit, which again, like I said, I think grapefruit is one of the most underrated or understood type of fruits out there. Sometimes it's hard to really get the good flavors out of grapefruit, but you have that sweetness, you have that acidity, and it's very pleasant, and then it kind of changes. And as long as you don't eat the rind, you're pretty good. Yeah, let's see what we're dealing with. There we go. There we go. Boom. All right. So TDS is pretty high. I'm not really getting that TDS as I drink it. What we'll do just for shits and giggles is that we'll go ahead and clean our palates to see if we can taste these separately. 1.67 TDS. That was a 3 on the fellow old, 3 pulses, 30-second bloom. All the pulses were evenly distributed, 40 grams, okay? We did it 212 degrees. So let's go ahead and taste this coffee, all of them, even though some are a lot more cooler than others as we drink these, and see if we can kind of really get flavors and taste and all that good stuff as we conclude this situation. So 1.67 puts us around, so about 23% extraction. So we did 1.5, which is about 19 and a half. We did the first one, which is 1.23, which is about 17. So by the numbers, it's under extracted, right? But now we're just gonna drink it and see if we can taste anything that's that much more different with these coffees. Okay. Yeah, they're very similar. Yeah, I could taste more of a sourness, lemony type of taste out of this coffee. It doesn't present that orangey type of taste that I'm used to with this particular coffee in the under extracted coffee. Like I said, this is a one-hit specialist, one-hit wonder. It's orangey, kind of chocolatey if you kind of get it from time to time. Then it just dies, and that's it. Yeah. It's 23% extraction, no bitterness whatsoever. Is the acidity more intense? It is actually. It's not off-putting. Yeah. Acidity's there, then it kind of dies down. Let's go back to the last one. Yeah, I think by doing all these experiments with light roast, I understand now that it's okay to kind of just taste acidity because you're trying to see what it's all about. And I think that's the cool thing about light roast. I wish it was more balanced, but again, it is what it is. Probably we can coax sweetness out of it if we roast it a little bit darker, still get in the light roast spectrum. What did we learn here? We can push extraction. As you push extraction with lighter roast, I think for me, but probably also for you, if you try this experiment, you don't need any of the gear. Just use and trust your palate and how you won't really taste bitterness in lightly roasted coffee if you decide to extract as much or more than what you think that you need to. Sometimes it's a game Sometimes it depends on the coffee and what it actually comes out to. But I've tried this so many different times with different coffees that I've noticed that I don't really get a bitterness from the coffee or like the over extracted taste to where it gets in the way of actually tasting the clarity, tasting the nuance of the coffee. In this case, it's more amplified. I think that's pretty cool in light roast. If that's your thing, that's your jam, if that's your cup of tea, right? This is me, Okay Everyday Beans, signing off. Talk to you later. Bye.